Hello and welcome to another edition of RogueTech on Commando Gaming. We're going to continue our series. Um, I'm got us teed up with a mission so we can get right into the action. It's a pretty straightforward uh, mission. We need to go rescue a intelligence operative and recover some data that he captured and then get out of there. So just to give everybody an update, I did run two missions off screen, nothing significant. There was no major impacts to our career. It was just simply some grab some cash and some salvage type missions. Nothing that you missed that was particularly exciting. So what I'm going to do in this mission, this video, is hopefully do 2 or 3 missions and address some mech repairs and travel and etc. in between the missions. Hopefully keep this thing moving and keep it interesting. So please enjoy the gameplay. All right, so it's pretty straightforward. We have to recover the agent here. Then we have to get some secondary data here. And then we probably have to evacuate. Although more likely than not on these types of missions, I'll just clear the map and just get picked up at the as soon as I pick up the data. So looking ahead at the map, we don't really have a lot of map advantages here. Um, what I can do is I can move up in this direction, crest the peak together as a lance, and set up here, take out any defenses, and then capture the agent, and then move over here and collect the data. So that would be my initial plan. Um, for my lance here, I've got an exciting lance because I actually have 3 ghosts that are operational right now. Um, I really like the ghosts because they have stealth capability. 2 of these ghosts have stealth. One of them does not because I need to get an electronic warfare package for the last one to have the stealth technology. So I will have some stealth capability here. So again, hopefully I can advance here. If I stay on this side of the ridge, I should be able to catch any defenses here by surprise, hopefully. Um, Now, if they have a patrol on this side of the ridge, then probably all bets are off, but we'll just see what happens here. So hopefully having one fully functional ghost and 2 partial functional ghosts, because the ghosts still have some enhanced sensors, even if they're not full ghosts. So um, those of you that haven't seen our previous videos, um, a ghost is basically a griffin that has some stealth and electronic warfare capabilities. Um, so the ones that are not, the 2 that are not fully stealthed, I have rocked them out with some pretty aggressive firepower. So this should be a pretty good lance. And then I'm taking my upgraded Centurion as well. He's kind of like the Brawn because he's got a nice AC-20. My concern with the Centurion is it's a little slow. As you can see, the ghosts are pretty fast. All right, we got an enemy detected. All right, so we got a Hatchet Man here. This is the first time I've played a Hatchet Man in RogueTech, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Now the question is, can I put in some fire here? No, no line of fire here. So we're just going to go ahead and ooh, all right. So we're taking some fire from this direction. What do we have up here? So we got a locust. So, I was hoping we could sneak up on these guys, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to. So, still a hatchet man. We got a Irby. We've got a fire starter. So nothing I shouldn't be able to handle if I play this smart. But then again, you never know if one of these mechs has a super overpowered. Oh, and I've got a wasp here. So we got a lance and a quarter. So some legitimate defenses here. Hit percentages aren't good, so I'm going to go ahead and brace here. Missiles coming in, nothing I can't handle. Try to angle into this cover over here if possible before we start fighting. I can probably get the ghosts in there. I don't know if I'll be able to get the Centurion into cover before we start fighting. So let's keep working on getting these Not only are these ghosts pretty solid mechs, but they're really fast because they have the speed of a griffin. They've got decent armor, and I was able to put some pretty good weapons on it. All right, so what shot at me there? That is not from a locust. All right, so we got a Vindicator over here. So I'm against 6 mechs here. So this is going to be fun. So what we definitely need to do is to get to some cover here, number 1. And number 2, I really would like to start getting some fire on these targets, but the hit percentage is awful. I got a locust. Oh, I've got something here too. I got a ghost. So it's literally 7 against 4. That's problematic. This is going to be a challenge. So what I definitely need to do is try to attack forward. What I'll probably try to do is try to get the fight going this way so I don't get flanked by this group over here. So we're probably going to have to leave this cover and keep going to the left across this ridge and see if I can do some divide and conquer here, because I mean, 7 against 4 for a 1.5 skull mission is pretty intense. So let's see what happens here. Now, the one thing to my advantage is the ghosts are fairly fast, and I think I can keep ahead of this Vindicator. Try to keep him at range. But the other problem is he does have a PPC, so I don't want to open up my flank too much for this Vindicator. All right, so we actually have our first target. All right, so what we kind of need to do is we need to I need to engage while I move to the left and try to keep my distance from this second group of mechs until I can do some damage on this first group, or I'm just gonna get overwhelmed. Oh no, Hatchet Man. Oof. All right, that's just really dirty pool. So a Hatchet Man just came in and did a hatchet job on one of my ghosts. Of course, it was one that I just armed with a pulse laser, so that is not cool. I love how that Hatchet Man just like came in and just did a real number on me. So this is going to be a pretty aggressive move, but I feel like I need to get rid of this Hatchet Man here. Wow. That Hatchet Man has got a lot of armor. I mean, in vanilla BattleTech, Hatchet Men are really not that big of a deal because, ugh, here comes the pain. I feel like I need to be aggressive here. What the heck? So that Hatchet Man is loaded for bear. It's got a ton of armor. This is going to be a real battle. And I still have mechs that aren't part of the party yet. Like, there you go. There's the Vindicator. Oh, boy. All right, we got the Wasp. Wasp is going to attack my flank like a good Wasp does. That Irby, oof. I think he's got a Frontier rifle, thank goodness. I hate keep I hate to keep exposing my flank to That wasp? But this hatchet man is bad news. I gotta try to get rid of him. And I still got a ghost after me. Like, I don't have a choice. I feel like I have to keep exposing my flank, which I really don't want to do. But if I don't get some stuff off the field quick, I'm in a world of hurt here. I gotta keep working on this hatchet man. Hopefully that hatchet man will be so warm that he'll have to retreat. No. Oh man. He's like just taking an arm off with every time he touches me. I mean, I'm not gonna have any weapons left at this rate. Man, this is just crazy. Plus 10 heat. Great. Here comes the fire starter. Haven't even been able to attack the fire starter yet. Can't take too many shots like that. My ghost is getting torn up. Alright, so I need to take this hatchet man out. Still got that locust. I've still got a ghost. I've still got a vindicator to take care of. And this is beyond brutal. Alright, we gotta. Dude, I already had a critical on his engine. He should be. You should be toast right now. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try this mission again. I know there's some gamers that are obsessed with playing Iron Man. I'm not one of those people. So um, especially when the computer throws something ridiculously unfair at you. I mean, 7 against 4 all at once. I mean, that's pretty brutal. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna restart this mission. You know, if I have a bad mission and it's legit, then I will stand by the results. But when the AI just sends something at you that's so unfair, um, I'm not gonna just sit by the results. So we're gonna wind this thing back. Um, I'm gonna get the same mechs or the same amount of firepower thrown against me, maybe with different mechs. Um, but I want to rewind this and give it another try because that was crazy unfair. So some people don't like it when people do this, but I'm going to be upfront. Um, some YouTubers will simply just end their video and restart it and play the mission again and pretend it didn't happen. But I'm going to give you a legit gameplay experience here. So we're going to run this back. All right, so we kind of know the map here. So what can I do differently? Um, so one thing I can do differently is I can go, and it's funny because I initially thought about doing this, is you don't have to do the mission, your job is to rescue the spy and capture the data. It doesn't say you have to do it in a particular order. So what if I move forward here and I put myself in a position where I can clearly fight one group of mechs at a time, which I think is realistic. 4 against 7, especially with most of them being medium mechs, is a little crazy all at once. So what we're going to do is we're going to play this back. I'm going to see if I can fight one group of mechs at a time, which is much more realistic, and see if we can run this back. Um, so like I said, I'm not opposed to a challenge. I'm not going to back out of this battle and not run it. But what I want to do is see, okay, so we got the wasp again. I just want this to be legit. Um, like I said, there's some people, especially with RogueTech, that would say, hey, you got to deal to Iron Man only. Um, play the hand you're dealt. But sometimes, and most of the time I do that. If you see my previous videos, I've had missions where I've gotten torn up pretty good. Um, but let's be realistic here. So I got all right. So I got a vehicle, a goblin. I've never played a goblin before. I've got a sling. The sling is actually a pretty nice mech. it's a pretty powerful mech for only being 25 tons. So we'll take a couple shots there. So what we're gonna do now, when you do a restart on a mission, you're not gonna necessarily get the same opponents, but you're gonna get about the same firepower. So looks like we're getting some more vehicles. I got a Pegasus. Huh. Need to get some medium missiles on this guy. I left with a mech that was short missiles. Not very good. All right, so again, hopefully what I can do is looks like we got a lot of missiles here, which is fine if I just charge ahead. Um, we got a Irby, yeah, Pegasus, a Saladin. I mean, this is kind of a catch-22 because um, I think vehicles are very overpowered in this game. Um, some people will say, yeah, that's pretty reflective of BattleTech and something that, but sometimes these vehicles are harder. I would almost rather face a 50-ton mech than a 35-ton vehicle most of the time because the mech, when you fight it, has parts you can break off of it, right? You can break off weapons, you can do internal damage. With a vehicle, you just have to keep hitting the armor until eventually it goes down. So I'd rather fight a mech, really. See? So I was able to get knocked down on that vehicle. If that was just a vehicle, I would just have to keep hitting it and hitting it and hitting it, and then eventually it would go down, right? So my Centurion is trailing behind since I kind of spread it across the map. What I might do is just turn that Centurion and have him take out this Wasp. Maybe do a fighting retreat while it tries to catch up with everybody else. I mean, this is a much more realistic outcome right now than what I faced the first go around. Um, and I don't really care about salvage on a sling. So let's keep hammering this thing. Try to get it off the map. All right, these other units are falling in behind us, and I'm going to take some flanking shots. Not ideal, but yeah, what are we going to do here? So I got 4 vehicles here. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be fighting multiple vehicles at once. So let's try to get this thing off the map. Okay. And we're going to keep moving forward. Got a decent shot with these Death Blossoms. Hoping I get more out of that. But it is what it is, right? So keep moving the Centurion. Maybe the Centurion can keep the flankers busy a little bit. At some point, that wasp is going to get into my flank, and I'm going to have to do something about it. Probably what we have to do is maybe circle the wagons here in this cover. Okay, so we scrambled the sensors on that Irby. Looks like those vehicles mostly have missiles, so I can actually handle some salvos against from them for a while. See what this Irby does. All right, that Irby definitely has, I think, an AC. Oh, so what he did do is set my cover on fire, so I don't have cover. So I should try to move these guys away from the fire as quickly as possible. Keep working on this Irby. Comes the Wasp. I knew the Wasp would start being problematic. Pegasus coming in. I mean, we're going to get beat up on this battle. There's no question. I mean, at the end of the day, I just have so much coming at me here. So let's get the Centurion's front. See if we can keep that Wasp busy. We're going to have to keep working on this Irby. So hopefully the next round I could take out this Irby. Irby's coming down. At least this Irby. Now, one thing you may have noticed is that I'm shooting chaff and flares at this Irby. And basically what that's doing is really throwing off his targeting. All right, that took out his AC ammo. Nice little bit of damage there. Hopefully, let's do a offensive push here. Try to take out that leg. Man, this Irby is a headache. Some missiles, nothing I can't handle. Let's move our ghost up. This should finish off this Irby for crying out loud. Guess we'll try to get his leg again. And the rest of him while we're at it. Oof. Got hit by some acid there. Ooh, so this Saladin has an AC on it, I believe. So we definitely have to keep an eye on that target. So we'll keep using the Centurion to watch our flank here. Decent shots there. Definitely go after the Saladin here. Oof, that was pretty bad. Okay, so what we need to do, we're going to do two things. First of all, we're going to capture this data. And see if we can take out some of these vehicles. I mean, look at that. I mean, I got solid hits with medium pulse lasers, and all it did was chip off some armor. I mean, it's going to take multiple rounds to take out each one of these vehicles. You know, unless I get a lucky shot in here, we're going to have multiple rounds of us just pounding these vehicles. Oh, all right. Looks like we hit some ammo there. We got lucky. All right, that's not too bad. So we're going to keep our Centurion playing rear guard here, basically. Oh, my goodness. I, I must have hit some ammo there. That was unexpected. So these vehicles kind of backed off. So I'm actually going to take one of my ghosts. And I don't usually like to do this, but I would like to have one ghost work on finishing off that wasp. And you know what? We'll pair him with the Centurion. I don't I don't love to divide up my lance, but I like having mechs in my flank even less. Mm, not a good shot there. Wow, that wasp is being very aggressive. I wouldn't have expected that wasp to keep charging in. Basically, that wasp is kind of on a suicide mission at this point. For him to go after two 50-ton mechs by himself, it's kind of crazy. Hmm. Well, there's that other vehicle. Ooh, another mech just came on to the field. What do we got here? Irby. Doesn't change our plans yet. I'd like to get some targets off the field. Interesting. So basically, what this wasp did is gave me rear shots here. Big mistake. So we're gonna be able to should be able to finish off this wasp right here. I'd be very shocked if I didn't. All right. So we'll let these two team up on that Irby. I think that Irby probably has a AC-10 on it. We're just gonna go in and try to smash this thing. All right, good. And then what we're gonna do, so we can put this Irby in a no-win scenario. Centurion is so darn slow. That fire's getting close. All right, be fairly aggressive. What I'd like to do is take this vehicle out of the fight as quickly as possible. Cooled off, so you can do a full salvo now. Good hit percentages here. We'll keep moving in on this Irby's flank. AC-10 destroyed. So the Irby truly is a trash can at this point. Let's go ahead and see if we can't squish this Pegasus. Move this Ghost around to the flank of the Irby. All right. Yeah, we just need to go pick up that intelligence officer. Now this was a much more realistic scenario for a 1.5 scale skull mission. I mean, the original setup was just ridiculous. I mean, I'm all for surprises and challenges, but that was crazy. So now all we have to do is hold position. All right, successful mission. Like I said, some people are obsessed with being Iron Man only. You know, I don't do it often, but sometimes when the game gives me something that's just plain ridiculous, I'll go ahead and play it back. Um, it's not that I want to get out of a tough mission, but I want to take a second crack at it. Like if I had played that mission back with the same opponents with that strategy that I used, I think I would have completed that mission. So, and it's funny because the first go around, there was a part of me that was like, maybe I should go after the secondary target first. All right, so let's look at our salvage. Anything AC-20, LRM-10s, LRM-15. It's kind of nice. Bunch of small lasers. Ooh. I do like to get tags, and they're hard to come by, so I might have to take that. Active probe. And a comm suite. Artemis 2. So this is going to sound a little strange, but I'm actually going to take the components. Because here's my thinking on this. Do I really want a sling? Nah, I don't think I would ever use it. An Irby, I already have an Irby. This one isn't even very good because it just has small lasers, and I'd really have to do a lot of repairs on it. And the Wasp really doesn't have any value, whereas these components are actually hard to find. And there you go, I got an Irby part out of it, but I got the electronic equipment that I wanted, so I'm actually pretty happy with that. All right, so I got an Irby out of that after all. I'm not gonna let Yang do the repairs here because I've gotten requests to see more mech management in these videos. Plus, I want to make a couple tweaks here. So let's jump in, see what I can do. So first of all, let's look at this Irby that I put together, quote unquote. So as you can see, if I go into refit, I don't think there's going to be anything worth repairing here. So even though, yeah, I have a mech, it's really not worth anything to me other than, see, there's nothing. I could repair this and get a small laser. I can repair this and get a heat sink. There's just not enough here. And I have plenty of small lasers. So this thing is going to get sold for scrap. I can get a lot more out of it by okay, let's look at my ghosts here. So this thing was overheating a lot, and it also needed some more missiles. So what I can actually do is go ahead and load this thing with some LRMs and some SRMs because these launchers can launch both. And I should probably move my case over here now that I've got all these missiles in there. And I'm going to take out these death blossoms. They were basically short-term weapons. And we're going to max out some armor here. Ghost is pretty thin on the legs, right? So I think that's some definite improvements here. Let's look at this other ghost. This one just needs some armor repair. One thing that could be a little frustrating with RogueTech that I miss out of vanilla BattleTech is it did a better job of rounding out the armor. Okay, so this guy, I wanted to look at this guy because he's running, he's overheating like crazy. Okay. So I can give him a heat bank because I want to keep these medium pulse lasers shooting as much as possible. Mech is carrying ammo that it cannot use. Is that this? It is. So for now, until I can get, do I have any missile ammo? No missile ammo available. So I think we can kind of leave that as it is right now, max out the armor. Adding that heat bank should make this a much more sustainable mech. Put a heat bank on this sucker. I'm going to take off this chainsaw, and I'm going to put this tag launcher on here for now. And that will and if I take off these flamers, put on a light PPC. I like that because okay, it's going to take 2 days. I also got this trebuchet that's close to being completed, but that's going to go on the back burner. If this firefly never gets completed, that's fine with me. Okay. So I think we made some minor improvements here, so let's go ahead and let these repairs progress. Stop by the mech bay. We've got 3 available for missions, so need at least 1 more pilot. Which means I can have that other ghost up, and I can have my A-team. So let's make sure nobody has some. Some minor upgrades there. And in the mech bay, we now have 4 ghosts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now I have 8 mechs. So I have 2 full lances. Even though I really wouldn't want to use this Irby per se, it is available. So kind of interesting. I could roll out with an all ghost. So this ghost 10. So ghost 10 is my fully operational ghost. And then I have these other 3 that are kind of partial ghosts. They don't have the full blown sensor kits. And got this hunchback here. The hunchback's definitely decent. Wonder if there's anything I want to do on this hunchback. So I can. No, there isn't really anything I can do on this hunchback. It kind of is what it is. He's kind of relegated to the B team at this point. So let's see if we can get into a mission real quick. So we got aggressive negotiations and an insurgent leader. So we got 2 assassination missions basically. So we might as well take this aggressive negotiations. It's a pretty good payday. I'll probably take the 2 and 8 and 612 150. I'm gonna actually rock 3 ghosts. See how that goes. Uh, So I want to make sure the full ghost is going to be with my tactician. I give my best pilot the most powerful ghost, and let's roll out with 4 ghosts and see what happens here. All right, this game is loading up pretty quickly. Hopefully we'll get through this mission. If I get through this mission fairly quickly and there's not too much damage, I can probably roll out with another mission. Now that I basically have 2 lances. One thing I really do like about RogueTech is the messages that you get on the top left. They've done a really good job of coming up with a large staple of messages that are useful, unlike BattleTech, which really vanilla BattleTech, which has very vanilla messages. They're mainly historical in nature, and then after you've seen them a couple hundred times, they're not even interesting anymore. All right, so probably going to have some bodyguards and a quote-unquote boss mech to engage. pretty good about this. All right, so we got escorts, reinforcements, and then we have the diplomat. So this is not my favorite map, although I have figured out a way to game this map pretty well. Uh-oh. Hopefully we're not frozen. Okay. So let me show everybody. So in my experience, this map is set up to restrict your advance to either along this beach here or out onto this walkway, which then makes you vulnerable to attack from multiple angles. So what I've consistently been successful with doing on this map is to not play that game. So basically, I'll go up this canyon here. Typically, I avoid going through canyons, but because usually it's death traps. But in this situation, especially with 4 ghosts that have good speed, if I move laterally here, not only can I move up here where I get the high ground, but I'll actually be able to gain some distance from those reinforcements. And that basically will let me, in theory, engage one group of targets at a time. Instead of being out here on this walkway with no cover and attacked from multiple sides. So it's a pretty clever map they put together for sure. That gives you a lot of bad choices. This is the least bad of those choices in my opinion. Pretty good percentage chance at this range. Would have liked to have gotten more hits on that Jenner. But we are up against a large number of targets here, so I got to try to start whittling these down sooner than later. So we got a Raven, a Jenner, and that's the only thing I have vision on right now. So not bad hit percentages at that range. Got a couple missile hits on that Raven. Again, not the most exciting, but not only does this let me start doing damage to our opponent here, but by engaging these targets with fire, it does encourage them to come after me. So I'm going to shoot chaff at this Raven. It's not going to do any damage per se, but it is going to hopefully confuse its sensors a little bit. If it does hit, doesn't look like it hit, but that's all right. again, we're just trying to, number one, get my lance into position where we have the high ground. Hopefully start doing some damage at range. Force the enemy to move in and attack us. So we can fight one group of mechs at a time. It's always very crucial to get the best positioning. As you can see, I've got the high ground here. I've got some good cover, and I've actually increased the distance on these reinforcements. So what I want to do is start whittling down this initial force as much as possible. See, we got the Raven to come in. Probably a big mistake by the Raven. Ideally, the Raven would not want to close range because it's supposed to be a electronic countermeasure in a long range opponent. So by it moving in, it's given up its primary role. Oh, we got another sensor hit here. All right, so I got a ghost there. What are my hit percentage on the ghost? The hit percentages on the ghost are pretty lousy. So I'm going to have to keep working on this Jenner. Again, based on the theory that you want to take as many guns off the field as quickly as possible. Oh, all right, so we got some vision on a couple more units. Got a Wolfhound. So these are the reinforcements. So we got a Wolfhound and a Flea. So not only did I buy some time by fighting these targets first by my approach, but I took away the advantage. The Wolfhound and the Flea are the best at attacking my flank. So if I take that away and force them to come at me directly, that's good. Not the best hit percentage here. Pretty good hit percentage on this Raven, but better hit percentage on this Jenner. So we're gonna have to keep working on this Jenner more than I would like. All right, there's the other reinforcement. So I'm up against a lot of mechs, but I've got the high ground here. They can't come at me directly unless they come this way. All right, the ghost is moving in. Interesting. Okay, so they're trying to get the Jenner out of play because it's got some pretty significant damage. Shots against the ghost are pretty decent against the ghost, I'd have to say. Still better here against the Jenner. I am going to have to shift targets at some point. Oh, it looks like I took out the Jenner. Yes. stealth on that ghost is not going to let me engage here because the countermeasures are stronger than my sensors. So okay, we're going to keep working on this Raven actually. And it's interesting, they're charging in, but they really don't have a direct path to attacking me dead on, so I'm kind of surprised by this strategy. I mean, they're basically letting my plan work against themselves pretty well. All right, so they're going to try to move some units probably into my flank. I can get decent shots on the best shots are still going to be on the Raven. It's not wonderful, but let's keep working on this Raven here. I was hoping I would get lucky. Okay, so the Wolfhound actually has some decent laser weapons, so it's not a bad idea for them to try to attack us head on. The Ghost might be trying to flank me, or it might be seeing if these other mechs can whittle me down a bit. Because as of right now, except for possibly the boss mech, that's probably the best, most powerful mech we have on the field right now. And when it says flame refuel depleted, that just means my chaff rockets have run out. I don't, obviously I can't shoot flamers that far. All right, and this Raven, see the Raven's trying to really get into my flank. And I can't let that happen here because I really need to protect the high ground. So let's make him pay for trying to flank me, not as much as I would like. So I'm basically going to have to keep this ghost here and try to deny that pass, which is fine. I'm okay doing that. I'll take a ghost against a Raven any day of the week. Good hit percentages on this Wolfhound. Pretty good. Okay, so they're going to use the flea to try to flank me. Not too surprising. What really makes me nervous is where that ghost is. Ghost. I'm thinking the ghost might be hanging back to see if these other mechs can whittle me down a bit. I'm hoping. See, they're in a tough spot because have a lot of flanking mechs that are trying to attack me head on, and that's not going to be successful. I mean, I'm more than happy to sit here and just attack them at long range. Oh, there's the ghost. Ah, see the ghost? The ghost was waiting for an opportunity to do an ambush on us. So So the ghost got in a good shot, but not only did it overheat itself, but now it's put itself in a situation where I can get 3 ghosts going against 1 ghost. And that is not a winning proposition. Now you can see my hit percentage is not the best here because this ghost has some really good countermeasures, but it's just going to be overloaded. I'll take that all day long. Because if I take this ghost out, it takes a lot of firepower off the field. The Raven's going to try to move up this cliff. Okay, the ghost gets up. The ghost is overheating. I don't think it'll shoot. Nah, it's going to go... Oh, it is going to shoot. So that tells me the AI is feeling a little desperate because now that ghost is going to be overheating again. So he's trying to use the Raven to distract us from the ghost, but that's not going to work. I can actually move Omega, which has the best sensor suite, in. All right, there goes that ghost. It took a lot of damage. I was hoping I would get some salvage out of it, but we got to get enemies off the field first. This Raven's not looking so good. All right, so that the Stinger's trying to flank me. We'll have to keep an eye on him, but we should be okay for a turn or two. Okay, the Raven is desperate. I would never take a Raven in and do that move. All right, so that Pegasus has missiles, not really a primary target. So I don't think I would take a almost destroyed Raven into close range and expose its rear. Because now and this Raven is toast. There's like no way it's going to survive this. Oh my goodness. I never would have thought that thing could have survived that. But that's okay. There's no way it's going to survive 3 hits to the rear. I mean, that's not possible. There we go. And see, the Stinger was trying to save his buddy the Raven, and he kind of gave up his initiative of attacking the flank. So now the Stinger is exposed, so now I have Ghost against Stinger. See, the AI is just getting desperate at this point, hoping that it can get a critical hit. But it just doesn't have enough firepower on the field. Or it might be trying to do enough damage that maybe the boss target or the primary target will have a mech strong enough to cause me some damage. That's a tall task here, so I mean the flea is right here, so we might as well just take this out. I mean a flea just cannot handle alpha strikes from multiple mechs that outnumber it by 330 tons. It just can't. So hopefully this will finish off the flea. I don't really care about salvage from this thing. Well, we took out both legs, so theoretically we'll get 2 pieces of salvage from it, which I don't really care. So that Stinger's trying to flank us again. So really the biggest, most dangerous weapon here is this Wolfhound. I mean, if it stays at long range, I'll just cut it up slowly. Not much of a threat there. Keep working on this Wolfhound. Hmm. So the question becomes, at what point do I move forward and just overwhelm these guys? But I mean, I've got every advantage right now, so there's no reason for me to aggressively attack at this point. I mean, each opponent I take off the field is going to make them more and more desperate. Now think about how different this battle would have been if I had charged in and let these light mechs get into my flank. It probably would not have gone well. Hopefully we can finish off this Wolfhound here. All right. All right, so now we're gonna clear out our flank. Hi, Stinger. All right, there's the other reinforcement, which is a Herzer. One problem at a time. I think we can be fairly aggressive here, especially with vehicles. You just want to get them off the field as quickly as possible. Oh, we got a sensor reading, so what are we up against? I don't know what we're up against yet. All the more reason to try to finish this thing off. Oh, we still don't know what that is yet. Interesting decision. All right, so what do we do here? So this ghost has the most damage, so we're going to be smart about it. All right, the target just disappeared now, which makes me think it might be a ghost. No, it's a Irby. All that for Irby? Interesting. All right, so we're just going to take advantage of the fact that we have 4 against 1 here. And we're just gonna try to surround this turkey. He doesn't have a choice. He's got to move in. Whoa. He's got some sort of a weapon that shoots 4 times. This could get ugly. So what we need to do is get as many shots in as we can, try to take some of those weapons out. Okay, so it was armed with acid, so we destroyed the acid. Got no shot on that one. And need to hit this guy as much as we can before he shoots again. Can't believe they crammed 2 guns into an Irby. Huh. Oh, so it jammed. So his weapon jammed there. So again, we need to just hit this guy as hard as we can. All right, so it was a tough mission. A little longer than I thought it would be, but I think we used some good strategy there to achieve results with minimal damage. We're going to have some repairs, but given what we're up against, I think that was a pretty sound mission. All right, so we got a good payday because we had some significant increase in our opponent. We've got a little internal damage on this ghost, and the rest of it is just armor, which is pretty nice given what we're up against. So we're up against 6 mechs and a couple vehicles. We're going to have some tough choices on salvage here. Large pulse. Ooh. Large pulse would be really nice to get. A lot of medium lasers. Medium magna laser. Not as good as it sounds. Got a tag. I like to get those. Beagle probe. Lots of good salvage here. Lots of good salvage. So I need this, get this Guardian ECM because I need it for one of my ghosts. And then I need to take a ghost part, and maybe I'll get lucky here. Let's see. 2 ghost parts. Not too bad. I can live with that. Tag, which I like to get. Not too bad. Not bad salvage there. I wish I'd maxed out salvage on this one. But I gotta pay the bills. That's always the tough choice with this game. So it looks like it's going to take a while to load this. Let's see. Hopefully it won't take too long. I like to show you how much repairs we have to do after this, and then we'll call this video to a close, and I'll do some back end repairs, and then hopefully we can get a couple more missions in before we have to decide if we want to move to another planet. All right, everybody. So this reload is taking way too long, and I don't want to make this video last forever. So I'm going to go ahead and stop right here, and we'll look at the aftermath of that battle in the next video. Talk to you soon.